This happened in an old Soviet apartment building, the kind they called a Khrushchyovka, built during the time of Nikita Khrushchev, one of the leaders of the Soviet Union. These buildings were put up quickly and cheaply, made of concrete panels with walls so thin they barely held any sound. You could hear everything in them, neighbors talking, footsteps moving from room to room. Even the quiet sound of someone turning over in bed at night, it felt like the building itself was alive, filled with other people's noise. On our floor, almost everyone was an old woman. Their husbands had died long ago, and now they lived alone. Quietly, as if trying not to disturb even the air around them. They went to bed early, rarely left their apartments, and always locked their doors with 2 locks. And only one person didn't fit into that silence. Boris, from the apartment next door. During the day, he seemed completely normal, a middle-aged man, calm, a little tired. Sometimes he would say hello, sometimes he would help someone carry groceries. He lived with his elderly mother, a small, hunched woman who almost never left the apartment. Back then, there were no security cameras, no group chats for the building. No one recorded anything or talked about what was happening. Everything stayed inside those walls, but at night, Boris became someone else. At first, I didn't understand it. That night, I woke up because of a strange feeling. Not a sound. A presence, like someone was standing very close. Too close. Then I heard something dragging near the front door. Once. A pause. Then again.
I lay there, completely still, listening. The apartment was dark, with only a thin strip of light from the hallway seeping under the door. Footsteps, slow, dragging, and then they stopped right outside my door. I felt a cold sensation crawl up my spine. My heart was pounding so loudly it felt like it could be heard from the other side. I didn't dare get up for a long time, but at some point the fear became stronger than the unknown. I quietly crept toward the door on my tiptoes, very slowly. I tried not to breathe, even though my heart was racing so hard it felt unbearably loud. Out of fear, I wanted to breathe faster, louder, but I held it in so I wouldn't break the silence. I looked through the peephole. At first, nothing. Just the empty hallway, and then him. Boris was standing right in front of the door, too close. His face was almost touching it. There was only the door between us and just a few inches, and he was staring directly into the peephole. Not just looking, he wasn't moving at all, as if he knew I would come, as if he had been waiting for that exact moment. I pulled back. Not right away. At first, I just stood there, trying to understand what exactly was scaring me, and then I realized he couldn't see me. But he was looking exactly where my eye was. After that night, it started happening again. At first, every few days. Then almost every night, He would come to my door and just stand there, sometimes for an hour, sometimes 2, sometimes longer, no knocking, no sound, just watching. And one night I made a mistake. I decided to see if he would leave, if I pretended to be asleep. I didn't go to the door, I didn't look through the peephole, I just lay there and waited. An hour passed, then another. He didn't leave, and then I heard a whisper, quiet, right behind the door.
I know you're not looking tonight.
After that, I never felt safe in that apartment again. But it didn't end there. The next night, I didn't sleep at all. I lay there staring at the ceiling, waiting for him to come back. And he did. I heard the footsteps from far away. The same slow, dragging steps, impossible to mistake. He came up to the door and stopped. But this time there was no knocking, no rustling, just silence, heavy, pressing. I couldn't take it anymore. Very slowly, I got up and walked to the door again. My heart was pounding so hard my vision started to blur. I leaned toward the peephole and saw nothing. Empty. But then I smelled it. Alcohol, strong, fresh, right there. I was about to step back when I noticed something strange. The light from the hallway disappeared, like something was blocking it. I froze, and then I understood. He was standing right up against the door, so close he completely covered the peephole. That's why I could smell the alcohol on his breath. Our faces were only inches apart, but this time I couldn't see him. I stood there, not moving, and then the peephole slowly began to darken from the inside. I jerked back, and at that exact moment I heard a whisper, not from the hallway anymore, right behind the door, close to the lock.
Now I can see you.
From that day on, I never went near the door again, not once, but the worst part came later. Sometimes, at night, I wake up with that same feeling, like someone is standing very close, too close. And in those moments, I'm no longer sure he's still on the other side of the door. And one day, that feeling didn't disappear even in the morning. I woke up and it was still there, right next to me. I lay there without moving, trying to convince myself it was just fear left over from the night. But the air in the room felt different, heavy. Foreign doesn't feel natural here, so better. Wrong, like something didn't belong. I slowly turned my head and saw that the door to the hallway was slightly open. I clearly remembered closing it before going to sleep. I always did. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. Even the clock in the kitchen seemed to have stopped ticking. I got up. My legs felt weak. Every step took effort. I stepped into the hallway and immediately felt the cold. Not a draft, not morning chill, a cold like someone had been standing there all night. I looked at the front door. It was closed. The locks were in place. Everything looked normal. But on the door, there were marks, dark, right at the level of the peephole, as if someone had been pressing their face against it for a long time. I slowly raised my hand and touched that spot. It was ice cold, and in that moment, I heard something behind me. A sound, quiet, barely there, like breathing. froze and realized that sound wasn't coming from the hallway. It was inside the apartment, right behind me. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I just stood there and listened. And then very close, right next to my ear, I heard that familiar whisper.
I don't need the door anymore.
I didn't turn around. My body wouldn't respond. I stood there staring at the door, at those dark marks, and felt it. He was behind me. Not just a feeling, a presence, heavy, real. He was standing too close. Our faces were only inches apart, only now there wasn't even a door between us. I tried to breathe, but the air had turned thick, cold. And then, very slowly, I heard him inhale. Right behind me. The same sound as before, from the other side of the door. I closed my eyes, hoping that if I couldn't see it, it wasn't there. But the sound moved closer, as if he leaned in, almost touching me. I couldn't take it anymore. I turned around fast. Suddenly, the hallway was empty. No one there, just walls, just the door, just silence. I stood there frozen, trying to understand what was happening. And then I noticed it, the mirror, at the end of the hallway, in the reflection. I wasn't alone. This wasn't from lack of sleep. Not my mind playing tricks. It was real. Behind me, in the reflection, stood him, Boris. Very close, his face pale, almost gray, his eyes completely still, and he wasn't looking at me. He was staring straight into the mirror, straight into my eyes. I turned around fast, suddenly, empty, no one there. I looked back at the mirror. He was still there, standing in the same place, not moving. And then his lips slowly began to move. I couldn't hear anything, but I could read them.
Now you are always looking.
I stepped back, one step then another, but in the reflection, he didn't move. He stayed exactly where he was, too close, too still. And in that moment, I understood the worst part. He wasn't behind me anymore. He was in the reflection. I don't know how long I stood there, minutes, maybe hours, but after that day, I stopped looking into mirrors. Completely. I covered them, draped them with cloth. But sometimes, when I walk past, I can feel it. He's still there, standing, watching, waiting for me to look again. And the worst part, sometimes at night, I wake up with the feeling that I'm being watched. I open my eyes, and at first I see only darkness, but then I realize it isn't empty. There's a surface nearby. Smooth, still, too dark to be just a wall. It reflects, and I'm not alone in that reflection. I don't move, and it doesn't move either, but it isn't calm. It's waiting. I try to understand where I am, on this side of the mirror or the other, and then a thought comes, cold and sharp. What if I'm not here anymore? What if I'm the one looking from the other side? And that's when I understand the most terrifying thing. The door doesn't separate anymore. The mirror doesn't reflect anymore. It's all the same space now, and I'm no longer sure who is watching, me or him.